Hello everyone, welcome to the U.S. Immigration News. Once again, we're finally seeing a glimmer of good news in the immigration process. After months of delays, confusion, and endless waiting, USCIS is now reporting a major breakthrough. Backlogs that have trapped families in limbo for years are finally being cleared, and thousands of immigrants are waking up to faster approvals for work permits and green cards. For many, this shift feels almost unreal. After all, we've gotten used to disappointment, delays stretching into years, interviews postponed without warning, and processing timelines that broke families apart. But right now across the country, immigration lawyers, advocates, and families themselves are confirming what the official numbers suggest. Things are starting to move faster. In this video, we're going to break down how USCIS is clearing the backlog, which categories are actually seeing faster approvals, and why this could mark a turning point for anyone waiting on a work permit, a family-based green card, or an employment petition. If you're enjoying this video, please hit the bell icon, subscribe, and like it so that you can get updates straight to your smartphone. Okay, so now let's get into the video. For months, pressure has been mounting on USCIS to deliver results. Under the Trump administration's 2025 enforcement orders, the agency faced criticism not just for strict policies, but for its crushing inefficiency. Families couldn't plan their lives, employers couldn't rely on workers, and immigrants lost hope that their cases would ever be reviewed. But this month, something has changed. Data from USCIS and reports from the field show that processing speeds are finally improving. Employment authorization documents, better known as work permits, that once took 10 to 14 months are now being issued in as little as 4 to 6 months. Family-based I-130 and I-485 applications that used to stall indefinitely are being scheduled for interviews within the year. Even some employment-based green card categories, where demand has been overwhelming, are now moving forward at a pace we haven't seen in years. So what's driving this sudden progress? Officials say it's the result of internal reforms that began under the Biden administration, but are only now bearing fruit. Investments in technology, expanded staffing, and the streamlining of redundant steps are helping officers process cases more efficiently. At the same time, the political climate is pushing USCIS to demonstrate results, proving they can deliver on Trump's pledge of stronger but faster immigration enforcement. But let's be clear, this isn't just about statistics or agency performance. This is about real people. Imagine waiting years to reunite with your spouse only to be told to wait another year, or being offered a job that requires legal work authorization while your employment card remains stuck in a never-ending pile. For families in these situations, every delay has meant heartbreak, missed opportunities, and financial instability. Now, with faster approvals, lives are being rebuilt, couples are being reunited sooner, parents are finally able to provide stability for their children, and immigrants who came to this country to work are finally able to do so without fear of losing their livelihoods. Still, this is not a miracle fix. The backlog hasn't disappeared overnight, and many categories remain painfully slow. Overseas consular processing, especially for spouses and children abroad, is still taking up to 14 months or more. And while some families are celebrating quick approvals, others remain trapped in limbo. For them, this progress feels like hope, but also like a reminder of how uneven the system can be. That's why experts warn stay realistic. Just because approvals are faster this month doesn't mean every case will see the same outcome. USCIS is working through cases strategically, and honestly, some applications, especially those flagged for additional evidence, may still face long delays. But for those who filed clean, straightforward petitions, the odds of faster processing are stronger than they've been in years. And there's another question that can't be ignored. How long will this last? Immigration in the United States is deeply political, and every policy change is vulnerable to reversal. Advocates say today's progress could vanish tomorrow if resources are shifted, if new orders come down from the administration, or if the next election resets the agenda once again. That's why they urge immigrants to act now, file as soon as they're eligible, and avoid mistakes that could drag their case back into the backlog. For families and workers who have waited way too long already, August 2025 may be remembered as the moment when the tide really began to turn. It's not perfect, it's not permanent, but it's progress. And in the world of immigration, progress is honestly everything. If you step back for a moment, the bigger picture becomes clear. Faster work permits don't just change the lives of immigrants, they really strengthen local communities. When immigrants are allowed to work legally, they pay taxes, they spend money, they contribute to businesses, and they ease labor shortages in industries like healthcare, education, and construction. Every approval is not just a piece of paper, it's a lifeline that helps stabilize entire communities. The same goes for green cards. When families get their approvals, they no longer live in fear of separation. They begin to buy homes, invest in education, and plan long-term futures in America. This kind of stability isn't just good for immigrants, it's good for the economy, for neighborhoods, and for America's promise as a nation built by newcomers. And yet, as hopeful as this sounds, the reality remains fragile. Political winds can shift quickly. USCIS could face new restrictions, the quota system for visas is still outdated, and backlogs could return if Congress fails to act. That's why, many advocates stress that now more than ever, immigrants should prepare carefully, file accurately, and keep track of their cases with the seriousness of someone protecting their future. So while this may feel like a long-awaited victory, the truth is it's only a step forward in a much longer journey. Immigration in America has always been a story of waiting, of resilience, and of hope against uncertainty. Today's news doesn't end that story, but it does give us a chapter where hope feels stronger than fear, and sometimes that's enough to carry families through the waiting. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It's important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and, a lot more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas such as B1 and B2 work visas like L1A, L1B, and H1B student visas, green cards, immigrant visas like EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas as well. If you haven't already, please, subscribe to the U.S. Immigration News Channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next.